Okay, well, welcome to We Were Gamers, episode 401. I'm here with the full crew.
Are we in our 401 of 4,000 weeks?
Is that a reference I don't get? Could be.
I read a book called 4,000 Weeks recently. Now everything is it's all under a time limit, man. You only have 4,000 and then you're gone.
What is it?
That's a little bleak.
What's that even in reference to? Is this like you die in 4,000 weeks, basically?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any math, though, because I don't care.
401 of 4,000.
We're canceling the podcast if we get to 4,000.
10% of the way.
I guess.
10%.
You know what? I guess that's fair.
We can
set that as a goal. Yeah, if we're all like 68 still doing this. Actually, that's probably not even close, right? We'd have to be like 100.
No, we got to step up the content pace if we're going to even.
We'd have to start numbering side pods and doing more of them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're not going to be doing that, so people can just, they get us when they get us, and you're welcome, folks. That's what they were going to say. You're welcome. I knew.
Nice
I'm in tune with the audience.
The pleasure is yours.
Yeah. All right, we didn't get to it last week, and it's kind of a backwards facing thing, but we got to talk about F1. I know. Sorry, Andy.
Not too many people were backwards facing in F1 last week.
Shockingly.
There was no rain, and it's a track with a huge straightaways, so not too many crashes.
But not no crashes.
Certainly not no crashes. Yeah. Whoops.
What do you are the one who has, to me, been accounting for K-Mag. And I feel you have to answer for what happened in this race.
Okay. I wrote down specific notes about K-Mag.
Yeah. Hit me.
So the sprint, I think one of the commentators said it best when he made that bad move in the sprint, where he said, yeah, he's just driving while he sees red now.
He's just mad, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, to be clear what happened in the sprint, right? Like, let's explain it for the people.
Okay, so this was a weekend with two races, right? You had the sprint race, which is 17 laps or whatever it is.
Crucially, no tire changes required, so
no
you can just run one. Yeah, one
the
tire
main race,
go the whole way.
next day, 57 laps.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so the sprint race is just for points, and then they reset the field for the next race with another qualifying. So the sprint only matters for a little bit, and if you're in the back of the sprint, it matters very, very little because you don't even get points down to 10. You only get points down to 8.
Right. So only the top 8 places get points in the sprint. Crucially.
Okay.
But Hamilton was fighting for 8th place.
With?
And
it's important
K-Mag's
to know who
teammate was in 7th or 8th.
was in 6th, right? Because K-Mag was in 7th.
Hulk. Well, K-Mag and Hamilton dropped back behind Tsunoda and a couple other people. Right? And so Hulkenberg is in the points. K-Mag's starting to drop back out of the points with Hamilton.
Right.
And he's trying to defend.
K-Mag is 8th, and Hulkenberg is 6th.
Right. He's trying to defend Hulkenberg at least. Right.
And it's fairly clear, based on pace, that Hamilton has been charging up the field. It's pretty likely. I mean, it's almost a foregone conclusion K-Mag is going to get dropped out of the points here. But there's a reasonable suspicion, I think, from the part of the people in Haas that Hulkenberg will too eventually also, right?
Mm-hmm. Unless
you
put the most defensive driver on defense.
Defend like a lion.
They just yelled into the microphone, shield wall.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I got that. That's my heritage. I could do that.
The line must be drawn here. No fuck.
Mm-hmm. So, K-Mag picked up a couple penalties on hard racing, let's say, where he maybe...
Bro, he deserved those penalties.
I mean, early ones. Let's talk about the
drove him
early
off the
ones.
track a couple times.
Well, the early ones, okay, the earlier ones is hard racing, and then he was seeing red.
He races him hard for a while, and it's like, oh, this is a good battle. Wow, they're really going at it. Like, look at them. And then
Hamilton made a dodgy-ish move.
It wasn't the best move.
That you're supposed to give up the lane for. And K-Mag said, that's a pretty dodgy move. I'm just going to run him off the track.
Right. K-Mag was like, no, I shall drive my car in front of you. And, effectively decide if you want to brake or you want to hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I get it. He drove aggressively, but at the same time, it's the only thing that people are talking about from that race.
Well, yeah, because, the rest of it was a foregone conclusion, right?
It's a little bit like only one driver is allowed to race elbows out, and that's Hamilton. And if anybody else does it on the track, penalties.
No, dude, no.
Okay,
I think that's not true.
Hold on.
Like, they didn't give him a penalty for the hard racing earlier.
Did Hamilton get a penalty for crashing out cars in the first lap of the race? No. Forgotten about.
This time?
Yes, in the sprint.
In the past?
In the past either. He never gets called for this type of stuff. He literally crashed out Lando Norris and other cars, Fernando Alonso, and I think Lance Stroll, and a whole bunch of other people on first lap of the race because he's so far behind, he just charged up the field, decided to brake late, and then crashed into everybody. But does Hamilton... that's a racing maneuver because it's Hamilton. But if K-Mag dodges late into a turn and Hamilton has to go out, it's a penalty.
Didn't all those people finish the race though?
No,
the sprint.
Lando Norris definitely did not finish the race. He got remember because he got called into the steward's office for walking across the track.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of something else. Okay. I'm remembering now. Wasn't this Stroll that did this?
No, they on the tape. It's definitely Hamilton that crosses into the field. Causes a whole bunch of people to react, including Stroll and Alonso, and Lando Norris gets chucked into the wall.
Hamilton doesn't hit Norris, though.
No,
right?
he managed not to hit anybody, but he caused every single accident.
No, but that's not
just
how that
like
works.
K-Mag didn't hit
who
Hamilton.
Hits the guy? That's the guy that's in trouble here.
K-Mag didn't hit Hamilton either. Okay, anyway.
Okay. It's different.
So Hamilton crashes out a bunch of cars. No penalty. K-Mag gets some penalties for elbows out racing that probably went over the line. I'm not going to defend that he deserved. Yeah, I'm not saying that he wasn't deserved according to the rules, but we got to start calling them fair. They tried to get away with not even giving Hamilton a speeding through the pit lane penalty to keep him in the points, and then a bunch of teams were like, "Yo, he sped through the pit lane." So Hamilton gets dropped out of the points after all those K-Mag penalties to keep him in the points.
I think the other important thing, and the thing that people got really salty about with this whole situation, is that not only while Hamilton and K-Mag are racing hard this whole time, K-Mag is also then like significantly off the pace while he's doing this.
Yes, so he held up the entire field.
So it's not like he's going fast and they're just like right next to each other, Michael. There's like, oh, it's so close as they're diving through the turns at full speed or whatever. He's like half off the accelerator.
He's lollygagging through the turns.
Yeah, he's lollygagging for sure. And so there's a huge gap building over in like a short race, like a not long race.
Also causes a huge pileup behind him.
Right, yeah.
Of cars that then dodge ahead.
And as soon as K-Mag, eventually misses one, goes off the road, Hamilton gets by, two other people swoop by at the exact same moment. Yep. They're so close together, right?
Yeah. And then you get to the race and K-Mag gets penalized again.
Which, again, kind of deserved. I don't know. That one was iffier.
That one, to me, is another Hamilton no call. I know it's not an incident with Hamilton in the race. It was with, who was it? Was it Hamilton again?
No, it wasn't Hamilton.
No.
I'm going to Google this now.
The turn-in problem, right?
Yeah.
Where someone goes wider than you and they turn in and you don't turn in as hard as you're supposed to. I have seen, this is the crash that happened to Alex Albon and almost ended his career. I have seen multiple camera angles of times when everyone has defended Hamilton, Alonso, and other people from making this almost pit maneuver tap to the inside of another car. Right? Where they turned into him and the front wheel just barely tapped the back wheel of the other car.
This was a collision with Sargent. So
Yes.
like this is the issue where it's like, okay, Hamilton's not involved here at all.
No, this is Sargent.
He's racing for a position that does not matter with a guy who is a millimeter from being out of the sport. like why even, don't even like, yes, you have to defend, you don't go for the gap, you're not a racing driver, I get it, I hear all the stuff, but like just wait a second, Logan Sargent is going to screw up on the next turn and you'll get him back. It's not a problem.
But the reason I don't like this penalty the most, the other ones you could make an argument that you need to, we want to clean up the sport, can't be doing that kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, it's the only thing anybody's talking about because it was the most exciting part of the race, but whatever.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, now we're going to call penalties on people that are in low positions for doing this maneuver, but when we do it in high positions, we call it good racing. Oh, yeah, that was just elbows out, good, not, a little bit of late turn in, that's racing. It's like, what? Keep it consistent. That's my problem. I think this is the first race this year that I've been like, I see maybe why Audi grabbed Hülkenberg, because that Haas car with Hülkenberg in it got, 7th place or something?
On the merit twice, right? I mean, he qualified high in the sprint and stayed high enough, and then on merit kept his place in the race. Like, it's
I don't know if only one car got upgrades.
Very possible. I mean, Williams has been doing that too, right? But it's definitely the case that Hülkenberg, like, I think the thing to note is that like Hülkenberg is getting the most out of that car. Whether they're better drivers or not, I don't know. Who knows? I'm not here to evaluate like human beings, but like Hülkenberg is doing work in those cars.
Yeah. He's doing a lot better, clearly. And while I still very much think K-Mag is a more fun personality than Hülkenberg.
5,000% correct on that, for sure.
Hey, Michael.
As shit.
He's so boring. What position do you think Verstappen finished in, Michael?
I'm going to go with first.
That's a good guess, because
it's been almost
time.
But,
almost.
You asking because he did not?
He got second, yeah. The luckiest I've ever seen a driver get, Lando Norris.
So hold on. Norris beat him on the merits, though.
No, he beat him because of a safety car.
Well, the safety car, absolutely. The safety car sealed it.
He beat him because of a tire change on a safety car. That's the only reason.
The safety car sealed it. If you look before the safety car and like the splits,
they
Norris
both
was
needed
faster.
a tire change. It doesn't matter. They both needed a tire change.
But
and
Norris was Norris's car was faster.
Okay, but Verstappen came in. That happens a lot. Verstappen doesn't get fastest lap or whatever, and he still wins the race by 15 seconds. It's consistency, not speed, right? He's a machine of consistency. In this race, 2 problems. He managed to hit a bollard, which really screwed up his race.
Yeah.
He made one mistake that seems to have really jacked up the car and his race and everything else, so he ends second instead.
The speculation there is he hit this like bollard, and like you see the bollard bounce off or whatever. It doesn't really look like it does anything. Did you watch the replay analysis of like what they think happened?
No, not after the race.
If you go back and like watch him go over that thing in slow motion from a certain camera angle, like the car jumps up as it goes over the curb.
It goes over it,
and then slams down.
Yeah,
when it slams
and he
down,
had front end steering problems the rest of the race.
Yeah, when it slams down, the back of the car, which again, the back and the front all are in a balance. So if one messes up, the other messes up. But like the back of the car comes down on that little black like attachment point, which is like nailed into the concrete or whatever, that where the bollard was standing, and you can see a little like black piece go flying after that. So something under the car or something cracked or something at that point, and who knows how much that affects aerodynamics because wind is impossible. But like it certainly was the case that like that was.
It seemed like he was off the rest of the race since then. They were adjusting for whatever was happening, and he comes in for tires on a 20-second pit stop, 1.5 laps.
Safety car, yeah.
No. He didn't. He came in 1.5 laps before the
Didn't
the
he
other
dive in
safety
as
car.
they were starting the VSC, and then they called a full safety car, and Norris's advantage became huge at that point,
yes, because he gets the virtual safety car, which is like 20 seconds still. And then Norris stays out, and everyone's like, oh, well, that'll come back to bite him later if there's no other safety car. And then they're like, oh, the baller blew back out in the lane, real safety car. And it's like, now Norris gets a 10 to 15 second advantage, and he only won by 7 seconds. So whether or not he would
car
have
neutralizes that advantage, though, with a full safety car, they're backed up next to each other. Yeah, you don't get to keep 15-second advantage. You would with VSC, but you don't with a full safety car.
He comes back out behind, or they had to let the field go.
Yeah. Which then leaves Verstappen right behind Norris.
Yeah. Well, it leaves him in behind Norris instead of ahead of Norris when they both go in on the safety car.
Oh,
right?
I see what you're saying. Like Norris would have to pass him on the merits.
They shift positions. Yeah.
He effectively passes him in the pits. But like at the end of that, though, if Verstappen had the pace, he's right there on Norris's gearbox. Yeah. He could just go and pass him, right? And he can't.
Yeah. I don't want to take a win away from Lando. What is it? 15 podiums, first win?
This is his first win in the entirety of Formula One, yeah.
15 times on the podium, first win. And his car is the one with
second a bunch of times. He's been third a bunch of times.
So we were talking about upgrades, Michael. His car got 2 upgrades, and his friend who finished, fifth, his teammate, like fourth or fifth, 1 upgrade. So imagine if they'd given both upgrades to both cars.
Yeah. And like, to be clear, they were, showing splits and stuff. Like Norris was faster during this, the later portions of the race.
He raced out of his mind. It clearly was going to be a podium finish no matter what happened.
Yeah, like he was locked in for sure, right? It's just a question of like, could Verstappen have overtaken him if there hadn't have been this damage or whatever? Who knows, right?
I don't know. But that's the. And then K-Mag got last after Alex Albon smashed his car in the wall.
Logan Sargent.
Oh, Logan Sargent. Sorry.
Let's not shame the good name of Alex Albon, who may continue to be in the sport, unlike Logan Sargent after this season.
Yeah, I think it's time to start testing out other drivers.
I think Haas is going to have no choice. I think their choice was already forced when Hulk walked, so they're going to have new people next year for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
What a race, though. It was I was laughing.
Actually, like kind of exciting, right? Like,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, there was definitely that moment where you're like, ooh. If Verstappen can get his car in order, we might see a little bit of a race here at the end. And then it was like, he just can't. He can't do anything with the car. It's not working.
There was some excitement in the lower points too. It was like, oh shoot, is Yuki Tsunoda going to hold on to these points? Like he did.
The girls were watching, and it's the first race they've seen this season, and they go, I like the rainbow car. Which one? That one. I was like, yeah, you can like Danny Rick. That's cool.
V-Carb. Did you tell them the full name?
No, I did not.
Visa Cash App RB. Come on. Respect their, I don't know, sponsors? No. Okay, never mind. You don't have to do that.
What's up with that, by the way? It sounds like they may not have a second team going forward.
Who?
RB.
The RB team? People talk, man. Who knows what they're... I don't believe any of these rumors. I mean, all the Adrian Newey drama, we talked about that, right? There's rumors that like people want Red Bull, the main team, to sell the sister team because they're too close. It's like, they're sharing cost cap evasion or something. I don't know. I think that's I think they're just drumming up smoke to pretend there's a fire, but there isn't really. I don't see an issue with that. I think more likely the stuff that's going to cascade on them is what's going to happen with the driver market and like, if Sergio
how much
Perez
money they're going to have to
leaves,
spend. Yeah.
If Perez leaves, they're probably not going to keep Ricciardo. If Ricciardo moves up, they're going to have to find someone. If Ricciardo doesn't move up, would they keep Tsunoda? Like all these other questions. I think it's just going to be
I think again, Zhou, don't know why in the sport. Tsunoda also seems to be struggling.
I think
although he did all right this week.
Yeah, I think Zhou won't be in the sport next season unless Haas pick him up, and that doesn't seem likely either.
I would think not. Yeah.
Yeah, Audi's going to pick someone else for sure, right? I think Audi has said their
Audi's
number one
got
prospect.
2 drivers.
No, they don't. They only have Hulkenberg signed.
I thought they have signs.
No, that's who they want.
Oh,
but
Signs hasn't said yet, huh?
Signs has not signed on the dotted line.
He's waiting for that RB contract to come through.
I suspect that's exactly what is happening. He's just like content to wait because he knows the Audi offer is there, right? So
right.
I think Signs is correct in noticing he wants to win, and he has a better chance of doing that in RB or in Red Bull. But I think the Audi contract has a lot of money in it, and he's like, well, money, pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, protect your future, man.
Right.
Watch, what does they say? Protect that chain?
Yeah. Protect your neck.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Signs is the wrong side of 32, which is, not a good look for long-term futures. But, he's got like quite a few more years in him. He's not like he's like fallen off.
Michael, you like stats. You want another one?
Yeah, give me one.
371 days. How many drivers have won F1 races?
Oh, this is a good stat.
300 in the last 371 days?
Yeah,
4.
3.
Oh, that's what I was between. I was like, it's either 3 or 4.
It's the guy we just talked about, Lando Norris, who won this one. Obviously, Verstappen. And Andrew, the third one.
Sainz, twice.
It's Sainz, twice.
Ooh.
The only person who has beaten Verstappen before this past one.
And both those races, Verstappen was out?
Yeah, I think one of them, Verstappen's engine grenaded itself, right? And then the other one was that weird time where his car's brakes caught on fire or whatever.
Explosion that we told you about where he almost killed everyone in the pits.
Oh, yeah, that huge puff of smoke. Dude, that was so crazy.
When stuff shot off the side, yeah.
Yeah. All right. F1. Still good. We're enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a good drive to survive, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one this year, especially once they see where all the contracts land, which will be coming in the next several weeks.
Yeah, they'll be able to readjust the storylines a little bit once they see where the hidden information is.
Yeah, so the storyline in Drive to Survive will be interesting because they'll have edited it after getting the information we don't have now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting for sure. All right, I'm going to change topics a little bit. I'm going to talk about some home owning, some adulting that happened over here.
Uh-oh.
Leveling up.
I think we'll be seeing
Leveling up.
you guys relatively soon, right? In person?
Yeah, unless we're uninvited.
Yeah, there's some.
No, I really would prefer you show up at this point. It'd be kind of frustrating if people don't. So that'll be super nice to see you guys, but you'll get a chance to see what I'm about to talk about. We took delivery of a big new piece of furniture.
I thought you were gonna say the livery, like you did something to
the
your
house.
car.
Your family's
like
coat of
racing
arms
stripes
is now up on the wall.
He's striped his house.
Racing stripes right down the garage. No, we took delivery of a big new piece of furniture. We now have a gigantic wine refrigerator in the house.
Ooh.
Oh.
Does it have standing room? Is it a lay down situation? What's the Burgundy bottle count?
Oh, I love that you already said the most important word, which is Burgundy bottle, because they all know. And you know, because you must have encountered this before, that number is a lie, a dirty lie. Made up
is.
by people who want to make you believe that this could hold 200 bottles.
Unless they're Burgundy bottles.
No. Burgundy bottles is what they claim you can do.
Oh.
They claim you can do 200 Burgundy bottles.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't believe them.
No.
We certainly have quite a bit less than 200 bottles in there now, but it is also not full.
What's the bottle I'm thinking of? Not a Burgundy bottle.
Burgundy is the normal size one. You're thinking of like the big fat like Pinot bottles. Or
Pinot bottle.
Right?
No, not Pinot bottle. What's the larger wine bottle called?
It has a name, but most of the ones I have that are in that like fatter bottle are Pinots. Although I think a lot of California cabs use it too.
Chardonnays sometimes use it.
It has a much wider base, right?
Yeah.
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 We all know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate.
That's the one. That's
know.
the one that I always wonder what the actual count is for that type of bottle.
Yeah, they don't list that one. They only list the standard Burgundy one. But But yeah, it's actually like really, I mean, we spent a lot of money on it, so I feel good that it's nice. But the
Burgundy bottle. That's the one I'm thinking of. Bordeaux bottle is the standard one.
and they list Burgundy bottle on the thing, so
it's probably a lie anyway.
It's probably a lie anyway. It's a full size, like refrigerator sized thing. It's big.
Yeah. Is it a what style? Is it a cooler style and it's a piece of furniture, or is it a refrigerator style with a compressor and all that?
It has a compressor and all that.
Okay.
We got to plug it in. It has like a big old thing.
Glass.
It has a temperature. The front door is glass. Yeah.
Yeah. Wood.
The shelves are wood.
Dehumidifier.
I have no idea internally. I assume it must, because there's a giant cooling thing. It must have something in there. From Costco, because that's how we roll.
Yeah, because you can just take it back in the next 73 years.
Shouldn't be necessary, but I guess you never know.
Is that made by Vinotemp?
No.
That's one of the big sales groups at Costco, I think.
The previous one that we had, the previous larger sized one that we had, was a Vinotemp.
Vinotemp, yeah.
But yeah, I mostly want to talk about the delivery experience. You guys have have you had a giant appliance delivered to you ever?
Yes.
Or recently?
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Washing machine, dryer.
Okay. So I didn't remember how this went, because it's been a pretty long time since I've ever had something this size delivered to the house. Now with Costco, you're like, you tell them, it's like, okay, I pay the extra for delivery, so that they actually come and install it, as opposed to the we'll just leave it at your front door. Bye.
Yeah, it's still attached to a wooden pallet. Good luck.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a problem for us. I would rather
have a pallet jack.
Yeah, I would rather not have to get it off a pallet. I would rather not have to hope that a furniture dolly can hold this giant 200 something pound refrigerator or whatever. And I was like, no, I'll pay the extra whatever and get them to come install it. And so, they're like, okay, you have to schedule a time for that. Okay. Through some weird third party company now, because all this stuff is subcontracted, right? It's never like Costco delivery. It's logistics GFD or whatever, right? It's just some weird acronym that you've never heard of. Logistics
sounds
company.
Like a good flipping deal.
Well, I mean, it's
GFD was not for good flipping deal.
No, it was not. To be fair, the person did fine. I don't have any issue with what they did. It was just a weird and surreal experience, because they're like, pick a 4-hour window, because this stuff is always like this, right? Pick a day, pick a window, and they're going to show up during that time. You hope. And you just can't Google about this stuff, because every company has a million bad reviews. Every company is like, this was a 5-star thing. I had a great time. This is a 0-star experience. Everything was falling apart. And
yeah, so the Tim Rogers theory is just go with whatever has the most reviews.
Yeah, and it's you don't get to pick anyway. Costco's like, here's the people that are delivering your thing, and so you're like, well, I guess I hope this doesn't explode into fire. We'll see. And it's the window is okay, when do you want it to be? So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll pick the earliest first window, right? 8 a.m. to noon.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So on my off day, I'm just gonna hang out at the house all morning. Maybe I can run some errands in the afternoon or something. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't plan on it. Yeah,
probably not. Right. Amazingly, they do show up in that window, but only barely. And it's just it's you pick the time. They're like, great, radio silence. Yeah. From then, after you've ordered it, until the day before, and they send you an email. It's like, you're still scheduled. It's like, good thing you told me. I haven't been alerted for months at this point, right? And then they give you so then it's then radio silence after that email. Then day of at 11:20, I get a phone call. And it's like, hello, this is so and so. I'm almost in your area. If you have issues with gates or anything weird that I need to know about, it's like, no, just park in the driveway. It's fine, whatever. And, the man shows up, is there before noon. So technically he's, within the window or whatever. and then delivers and installs the thing. It's not even a big deal, but it's just very much like we're like, I'm just hanging out here like doing other stuff, hoping that I can like make my life useful instead of having to sit around and wait for this guy all day. Just slides in under the wire, gets it delivered, and then he's like, oh yeah, and by the way, like shows, he's like, here's the manual, here's all the little pieces and doodads and whatnot. And then he's like, oh, and by the way, they say you should wait 48 hours before plugging it in.
Yes. The last fridge
That's
we bought
true
had those same
for all
directions.
fridges. Yeah. Sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard of this before. And then it was like, oh, well, I have a bunch of wine now sitting out somewhere. Wouldn't prefer to be doing this. Okay. What if it's broken? What if I plug it in 48 hours after you have left, sir? And it just doesn't work at all. What do we do? I don't know. See ya. It's like, what the
I've
hell,
never heard
dude?
48. I've heard 12.
So I looked this up. All of them, all the refrigerators I looked up, all said wait some amount of time. The amount of time says varies. This particular one in their manual says 48 hours, and on the plug, when you get the plug in the back and like pull it out, it's all zip tied up to the thing or whatever. You get it out, it has a little warning thing taped on it and says wait 48 hours. So they're serious about wanting you to wait 48 hours.
All right.
Okay.
I had never heard of that before. The guy was like, yeah, people wait all kinds of amounts of time. Some people don't. Some people wait 48. Some people wait whatever. I don't know. We didn't like lie it down during transport or anything, but I don't know. Question mark. I was like, okay, thanks, I guess. They don't tell you this anywhere on the page buying the thing, anywhere in the process, and that never comes up. A little bit of a frustrating experience there, but it did we did eventually 2 days later get to plug it in, and it seems to be working fine.
Man, the last delivery I got was for a dryer. You know what they do now in quote unquote the name of reducing electronic waste? When you buy a dryer now, they don't sell you the power cord.
What?
It's sometimes it's even included, and the like big box stores cut them out of the boxes that they're included with and then sell them to you separately.
Oh my God. And usually those are like 220 plugs. You need big ones, right?
Yeah.
What a hassle.
And so you have to like know that in advance also, because they'll be like,
you have a dryer sitting there that won't do anything.
You want a power cord? It's like, oh, you mean like an extension cord? No, I don't need an extension cord. And they're like, okay. They'll just let you not buy one, and then it'll show up, and good luck.
Yeah, that feels shady.
That's mega scummy, yeah.
Well, yeah. So look out for that one.
Whew, man, I did not know that. That is terrible. Whew. That was a big old situation in our life. I'm glad that's resolved.
So it works.
It works. Yeah, it's working. It's definitely, because it's a big old thing, it's only got one temperature for the whole thing. So it's a lot easier to cause temperature swings on a big thing when you open the door to get out one bottle while you like open it, look around, decide what you want, pull it out, and then like close the door. And by the way, the temperature just rose 2 degrees. There is not a light. Maybe there's a light at the top, but that doesn't help like 6 shelves down. It's all blocked by other wine,
You're of an age that it might be appropriate for you to keep a spreadsheet of where the things are in there.
We got them organized in a way. I'm sure that won't survive contact with actual life pretty soon. It's organized enough for us right now. But I'm not the only one who's been dealing with new beverage situations. What have you been up to, Michael?
So we've talked before about brands releasing limited edition flavors of drinks.
Spice Coke.
So Spice Coke was.
Oh yeah, you told me to try that.
Yeah. I liked it. Andy did not.
Well, to be fair, I didn't try the sugary one. I tried the Coke Zero version, but I didn't like it. No.
But yeah, it turns out that was just the start of the summer beverages being released by soda companies. So we tried
the tip
another,
off.
yeah, the warm up act, if you will.
Ooh.
We tried a new variety from Dr. Pepper this weekend, and they put out a Dr. Pepper coconut.
That
Which
might be
is
good.
it's your regular Dr. Pepper flavored with coconut cream.
With cream?
Yeah,
So it's got
the
actual
flavor,
cream in the can?
I don't know that it's actually got cream in it because we
Can't be.
got it in a bottle. I don't think it does. It still
So
looks just like regular Dr.
you
Pepper.
didn't have to shake it or anything.
No.
Also,
Okay, so
there's
coconut
dairy
cream-
component in regular cream, so they couldn't do that.
No,
Well,
coconut cream doesn't have
Coconut
dairy.
cream.
But it doesn't. There's it'll go bad. Like you can't just.
Yeah, it would go bad, but it's not dairy. But it would still separate if it was real coconut cream.
And he said it just looked like regular Dr. Pepper. So. Okay.
Yeah.
So. What do we have to know about this?
So it was not. I'm not the biggest fan of coconut, so I was a little bit hesitant to try this one.
I was waiting for that caveat to hit us because I knew that.
But I liked it more than I thought I might. It's coconut cream, which is a slightly different flavor than just straight coconut, and it's good. It definitely has a summer. It has like a definite summer drink vibe to it. But I think the biggest feeling I took away from it was this would be perfect in a glass with some rum.
So that's true of a lot of things.
Yes.
I do love a good, like, I was a proponent in my college drinking days of the coconut flavored rum and soda drink. So
you're a little bit of a Malibu girl, huh?
Kinda, yeah. I actually always preferred the other non-Malibu version. I found Malibu like kind of too sweet somehow.
You talking Parrot Bay?
Yeah, I drank an okay amount of Parrot Bay as a youth. Don't know that I could go back to that life, but so I could totally I could see this. I could see this.
Yeah, so it's got the the rum and Coke flavor going on, right? If you were to mix it from the Dr. Pepper side, and then a very sort of tropical drink feeling from the coconut.
It's so interesting you bring up a Dr. Pepper flavor because I had encountered one that I had never seen before, but this must be like more common. There's a strawberry and cream flavor Dr. Pepper.
Yes, so that one they have put out and are just canning it regularly.
Ugh.
Yeah, I tried that for the first time and was like, "Oh, this is okay."
That one is a little on the sweet side to me.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite, but
I prefer they've also got a Dr. Pepper cream soda that I like much better.
How does that work? I mean, they just add the cream soda flavor to Dr. Pepper?
Yeah.
Or is it like a cream soda under the brand and it's like clear?
No. It's Dr. Pepper with the cream soda flavor.
Oh.
I mean, I do like cream soda, but
so more to come. I know Pepsi is releasing a couple of flavors themselves later this summer. I think I saw Pepsi Lime and Pepsi Peach.
Pepsi Peach?
not for me. That doesn't sound good.
I feel like too much fruit in these dark drinks. I don't know.
They're really just having to branch out, man. That's really what it is.
I think sales overall of soda are down considerably. That and
plummeting, I think. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help that the prices have gone up precipitously.
Yeah. Well, the price of milk hasn't, but with the bird flu and whatnot.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna skirt right turn.
Turn it.
Just miss that bollard and keep going.
Yeah, miss
hard turn. Drive flu, huh?
Drive right through the bollard on that one. Don't know what to do. We I've still been playing Eiyuden Chronicles. I know everyone is shocked to hear this news.
I hope to join you
I did
soon.
want to. Cool, man. I'm interested to hear your impressions. I wanted to go over a little bit some of the mini games in the game because there's a lot. It feels like. I mean, it's a JRPG. You got to have your fishing, right? You got.
Did Rising have mini games?
Wasn't there fishing?
There was fishing. Yes.
Yes.
It had a button input fishing.
Yes, because you could go down where that wolf was, and you just sort of sat in the pond and fished.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say this fishing isn't terribly more engaging, so I wouldn't. I would say Eiyuden here has a lot of mini games, and none of them so far have been particularly engaging. There is, with one exception, there is a Beyblade style top spinning mini game.
Okay.
Very randomly. There appear to be like quests and characters attached to that. I haven't gotten very far into it. And you could just like challenge random NPC. You like walk up to random NPCs in a town and say hi, and they'll be like, "Want to play the game?" And then you're like, "Oh, okay, I guess so." And you play them, and if you win, you get like a healing item or whatever. It's never anything like important or necessary so far. I guess I don't know. I haven't played that far into it. There's a fishing mini game. We talked about that one. And there is a card game. The card game is a little more in depth, at least. It definitely has like some. I don't know what the other game is, but it has some. You build a deck, right? But the deck is all. It's like 4 suits, 1 through 9. And some of the cards will have special powers, some won't, and then you kind of have to play them in like groups on the battlefield to try and like beat their group, right? And there's kind of a bluffing element because you can throw down, higher or lower numbers, and once you have 3 in a group, it's full and you can't add more. So
I hate bluffing against computers because computers can cheat.
Yeah. It's more of a like, well, if you just eventually fill your deck with cards with powers as opposed to cards without powers, you can overcome the fact that you're forced to play a 1 or something somewhere, and your 1 becomes an 8 or whatever with the right mix of conditions or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's as far as I am into that. I've only started getting that. I guess there's like a town and castle upgrading system in this game, just like Rising, where you're kind of working through that stuff. Also, I have met some of the characters from Rising. They make fun of the stamp stuff.
Oh no. Really?
Yes. I appreciate it. It's funny. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. Having played Rising, and then you go to talk to this person and they're like, "Here's your stamp card." And they're like, "What?"
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing this. And they're like, "Well, you got to do like this many tasks to get the stamps." And then they're like, "Are you kidding me?" And you help them, and it's like, "Here's a stamp," and you're just like, "Okay, are you gonna listen to me now?"
What do I do with this?
No, here's another task. Like, get another stamp, and they're just like, "I hate you." It's very funny. So we'll see where it goes. I'm liking the game. And like I said, the mini games are interesting, if not necessarily very deep.
Did you pay much attention to Schreier's quips with the game?
I saw what he said.
Okay, so I was wondering if that colored your experience.
No, I'm trying to enjoy the game for what it is, not what I wish it was. And I think, so I don't know where the story goes. I don't know what the outcome of any of this stuff is. So I can't judge it on its merits yet. I don't want to say like yes or no to how a thing is. Things I can say, though, is so far it really feels like an old school kind of game. It has...
That can be good or bad, though.
It can be good or bad.
Truth.
The mechanics are very old school. You're using healing items to heal. Like, magic is rare. that kind of stuff. So just be aware of stuff like that. And there is a lot of backtracking to recruit characters. That is just required. There is stuff that cuts it down a lot as you go on, but it doesn't cut it down to 0. It just makes it less. So, and there are some critical bugs that Schreier ran into that have already been patched. So I have not encountered them. I have encountered and recruited the people he said were problems.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, problem solved.
We'll see where any of that goes. Yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying the game. It's one of those where like it's hard to play like 7 hours straight of this kind of game.
Nowadays, anyway.
Right? Who has 7 hours? But I'm not the only minigame player this week, right, Michael?
No, you are not. So I got into the minigame that is in Horizon Forbidden West. So like any good JRPG, the game has built upon the success of its predecessor and added some systems, and one of them is a mini game. So this one is a little bit different. It's kind of like their take on chess. You have an 8x8 grid, and you and your opponent each get to pick from a set of pieces, each of which are based on one of the mechs in the game, and you lay out your mechs on the board, which has different terrain types, and the mechs interact with the terrain in different ways depending on the mech.
Is the terrain static, or does it change every time you play?
So every time you go into a round, you see on the splash screen for the mini game what the board looks like.
Yo, is this turning into Warhammer?
I was thinking it was like almost a Warhammer or like turn-based,
like a Final Fantasy Tactics kind of thing, almost.
BattleTech or Tactics.
A little bit, yeah. It's kind of a tactics game. So you place your pieces to start, and you alternate placing pieces, one each back and forth, until all your pieces are on the board, and then the game starts. And you get 2 moves per turn, and you go back and forth until someone has no pieces left, or someone has claimed, I think it's 6 points, and each unit is worth a different number of points.
So kind of army building in the 40K-ish kind of way. You get points or whatever.
Do you get points if you kill things? How do you win the round?
So if you knock one of your opponent's pieces off the board, you get the points that piece is worth.
Do I have a budget for my pieces? Like I need 50 points worth of pieces, and I can flood the board with 1 point.
So it depends on each board has limitations on the number of pieces that you can take and put on the field.
So I can't bring my like OP 100-point unit or whatever and 7 of them.
No, like you're only limited to a certain number on the field.
Come on.
That's boring. Make it bigger. It's a game within a game.
I want to win.
There is still, even despite that, there is apparently still a way to, like any good mini game, there is a way to cheese it.
So,
okay.
How has been your experience? Is
it repetitive at a certain point, or does it?
So I haven't gotten too far into it. I've only cleared 3. So I ran through the tutorial levels just to get a feel for how the game works and the interactions between the pieces. And then I think I've cleared 3 boards. And the first 2 weren't bad, and then the last one I wasn't paying attention. They had swapped out one type of unit for another type, and I wasn't paying attention to the fact that the new unit type that they had subbed in had weak spots on its flanks rather than on the rear side of it. And so I kept leaving my pieces facing the wrong direction at the end of my turns.
Interesting.
Yeah, so pieces have, and you see it when you highlight each piece. It shows the stats of the piece, but it also shows little colored areas, either red, gray, or blue, around the perimeter of the unit.
This is pretty intensive. Where are you playing this in the game? Is it like often, or is it more like you got to find people at certain points to play?
So there are people to play in the inns in big cities, or in like the
Okay.
taverns in big cities, I think. So I've only gotten to the first city in the game, but that's where you find the person who gives you your first pieces and teaches you how to play the game.
It sounds like you'll probably hit people every now and then, but it's not going to be like every person you walked into is like, let's play Triple Triad or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because these games seem like they take a while. Like, how long would you say a match takes?
It's actually pretty short. At least
Oh.
the first ones that I played, because you only have the round that I was playing. At least you only had 4 pieces to each side, so it went pretty quick. It was 7 minutes.
Okay. I guess the depth we were describing made me feel like there was a lot more going on here, maybe. But maybe it's just like it happens fast and pieces die or they don't.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Like at least so far, none of the pieces have a ton of health that you have to chew through, kind of thing.
Where's what was that stupid animal you fought in the first game that took 1,000,000 years to kill? Was there a giant snake or something?
The snake's in the second one, but I know the one you're talking about, the one that could fire, that had the saw blades on it.
Yeah. Was it a bird
Yeah.
or a moose? I don't know. One of them was like a giant pain in the rear. Dude, man. I'm getting mad thinking about this.
Yeah. Its name will come to me in a minute.
Can I roll us back a little bit?
Yeah.
Michael, you called this a good JRPG?
Did I say J? I think I just meant RPG.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, isn't it an ARPG? But
yeah,
if you didn't mean it on purpose, then the discussion is moot. I was like, oh, is he saying like we're gonna have a discussion about what type of RPG Forbidden West is?
No, Thunderjaw, JJ.
Got you. Yeah, that's it for sure. Yeah. Oh man.
Guerrilla Games, man.
Stuff.
Guerrilla Games makes good games.
I really am excited to get to this whenever I have free time again. Funny one. All right, a couple things I want to hit before we bounce out of here. You guys, I don't know why I did this. I started watching Twin Peaks season 3 again. I mean, I do know why. I do know why I did it.
So you went straight to, you skipped the first 2?
Yeah.
You didn't rewatch the old stuff. You just went straight to the new stuff.
So I've been listening to Nextlander's Watchcast, and they have rewatched season 1 and 2 already, and then Firewalk with Me.
Okay.
So I heard all that. I watched Firewalk with Me. I watched the missing pieces that come after Firewalk with Me, and then I have started watching season 3, and they are just now starting season 3.
Okay.
Having my long time listeners of this podcast will remember we discussed this on this podcast back in the early days.
We had another agent come on and discuss it with us. Oh, someone who understood.
Please go check that out. And I feel that having seen all of it, watching it a second time is such a different experience. I feel like knowing where it goes and what's going to happen, I feel so much freer. I don't feel like I need to know anything. I'm just like, yes, David Lynch, my arms are open. I'm accepting of your ideas. Send me into the transcendental plane.
Well, it's like the art history theory, right? Like, you really want to learn what this thing is about, you got to sit in front of it for an hour. Like, just sit in front of it.
Sit in front of this show for 18 hours.
So that would be like the first time through with a show, you're like, oh, what's happening? What's going to happen? What does it mean? What's this? What's that? You're not looking at it from the painting perspective of just sit there and look, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what he intends more often than not, which is why a lot of his stuff gets panned as inaccessible. It's not supposed to be.
I think it really, I think, and again, we've covered Lynch pretty extensively as part of that stuff and, our just talks in general during that time. Please go back and listen to those old episodes if you're interested in David Lynch and our takes. I'm sure everything we said was wrong. But watching it again, and I'm only like a couple episodes in, but watching it again is such an interesting experience because I'm like, I'm just accepting what's happening. Here is where it is. What can I know about this? What can I learn from this? What am I seeing watching it? You're right, Andrew. I'm really approaching it like an art piece instead of like a TV show where I'm interested in the plot or I'm interested in what's happening. I get the feeling, and I think
because
based on some of the yeah.
now that he's gonna just sit in that house for so many episodes that it's like you're not waiting for the moment when he realizes who he is, gets up and goes to try.
He's gonna drink the coffee. That's gonna bring him back, right? Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
So now and now you can sit and watch.
And you're like, every scene is gonna take an hour. That's how it works. You're just gonna sit there and look at these two people looking at a box for like 5 minutes, and there's gonna be like a low hum. That's the shot. Just let it happen, man. Instead of like expecting to get meaning out of any of this. That's not where it is. That's not what the meaning is. And again, like, I think I was unprepared for the type of art that David Lynch was creating here. And I feel more prepared for it now coming in this time when I'm like, okay, Lynch doesn't care about what the plot is. That's something I cared about. He doesn't. Let's just see what he's doing here, because it's not telling you what's going on. That's not what he's doing.
I think partially, though, it's a lot of it is that people will tell you that you're missing things. And so your brain immediately goes to like, what's the meaning I'm missing? Like, what's the thing I'm missing that explains stuff that's unexplained? And it's like, no. The stuff that's missing is not the stuff that's unexplained. The stuff that's missing is the visual of what you're not seeing. The
the feelings it creates in you is part of the thing also, right? It's like, what effect this has on you? How do you feel about what you're seeing? That is part of, I think, what Lynch is trying to get at here. People have spilled so much ink and so many words over this stuff. I don't need to, rehash any of that. But it's been very interesting going back and watching it again. And if people are Twin Peaks fans, I would recommend it. Oh, do we have enough time?
No.
Maybe not. All right, hard pivot again. Andrew, Diablo 4.
Oh God. I tried to play the rest of season 3 today.
How did that go?
I was on the story and I was like, I could finish the story. I logged in and I was like, actually, I kind of did finish the story. But I still had 2 seasonal quests open. And I said, well, what's this one? And I had to like Google it. And then it said, oh, that one you can't finish until you've done like Torment 4 Nightmare Dungeons or whatever. And then
you gotta get to like high level stuff.
Yeah. But it's gonna sit in your inventory the rest of the season because you don't have time. And then the other one was like go grind, and then maybe you'll get some more story. And I just stared at it and my level 20 character and said,
nope.
I'm good. As much as I maybe want to finish this season, I played a lot of season 2. I'm just gonna take this as a wash. I'm not finishing season 3. Let's see what happens with the new armor in season 4. And if it's not any more fun, then it probably gets the uninstall.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I'm going to give it a try again in season 4. I really did not try in season 3.
Yeah, I didn't give it a good go. And I think season 4 is a good one that we should check it out because they really are putting in an overhaul. So this is my open call. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I also want to say I did fall back into a very slight Vampire Survivors hole. Just a small one.
Deserved.
They released
DLC.
They released that new DLC, the Contra Operation Guns.
So good.
So I didn't buy any of the intermediate DLC between there and the last one that I had bought, which was...
Is there a lot now?
There's like several different ones. There's an Among Us DLC.
I feel like I need to pay them more money.
Well, go buy the Contra one. Go buy some of these other ones that are out there. I bought the Contra one and jumped into it. I was like, hey, you know what's a thing that I forgot about? Or that they added that I had... Yes. Do you know they added adventure mode to that game?
I heard about that, but I have not played it.
So I hadn't messed with it at all. You have to unlock it by finding a relic in some stage. Okay, whatever. That takes like 10 seconds with how overpowered your characters are. But when you jump into adventure mode, it restarts the game in like a completely separate instance. under, it's like only related to the characters as part of the adventure. So all your upgrades are gone. You start off with a certain amount of money and only one character again. And you have like a list of characters you can unlock in that mode and stages only related to that mode. So it's like now I'm playing like Contra themed stages with only the Contra characters and, the Contra weapons plus the normal weapons.
Mm.
But like my overpowered characters are gone. I have to play like level 1 no upgrades Vampire Survivors. And I was like, oh God.
How did you do this?
How do you survive? I'm just like running away. I can't kill anything. That's been a fun experience again. Which I mean, pretty quickly you remember like, oh yeah, you can kill stuff pretty good. So
their DLC is so cheap.
You love it.
Folks, if you want to get at us, where could they do that, Michael?
They can send us an email to podcast@weweregamers.com. Tell us who your favorite Vampire Survivors character is.
That's great.
They can also find us on social medias, and they should go check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@weweregamers.
Operation Guns.